Here.
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, folks. I am here live tonight with Prepper Crypto. We were
Well,
supposed to be on Cowboys of Crypto, Aaron's channel, but something must have happened to him. I hope he's okay.
yeah,
He is MIA. We couldn't get a hold of him, so we decided to hop on live here and hopefully give you guys some value. I have a little bit of an idea of what he wanted to talk about, and I think the Bonk token is on everybody's mind, so I've got some opinions on it, and I'm sure Prepper Crypto, Drew here, does too. So welcome, Prepper Crypto. Great to have you on the show again.
thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Brad. And yeah, Bonk kind of it came out of nowhere. And hopefully maybe Aaron will pop on here. But yeah, Bonk, I was hearing the Solana kind of inside community talking about it coming up. And man, I mean, I saw it corrected pretty heavily over the last day, basically. But man, that thing moved quickly, and whoever got in early on that really made some money. So yeah, that was pretty impressive to watch. Did you move on that coin, Brad?
I didn't move on it either. I kind of was behind the curve the first couple of days when I just first started hearing about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
I didn't even really take it seriously.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, I saw some of the people that I kind of respect in the Solana community talking about it. And
Right.
then I heard that it was an airdrop, for people. And I've got a handful of Solana NFTs. So I went and double checked to see if I got the airdrop, which I didn't. And then I'm looking at the price action on it, and I saw it was up 4,300%. So it was a 43x.
Yeah.
It's retraced back to about a 25 or 27x at this point. But yeah, man, I'm starting to move some things around and looking to get into it because I think the reward versus the risk might be there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those high risk, high reward situations. I'm really I don't think I'm going to be getting involved with it, only because it's on Solana, and I just kind of want nothing to do with that protocol. But I was thinking about it. It might be signs of good volatility coming back to the market, good opportunity coming back. I remember when Dogecoin pumped, that was kind of the precursor to the last bull run that we had. And then the one before that, you get those crazy random spikes, and everyone starts looking around and be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then it's kind of like a self-fulfilling thing when people start, waking back up to the tech and different potential use cases and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, good on anyone that, made money on it. I just personally, I don't want to partake in that particular protocol, but that's why it takes all kinds,
I understand exactly how you're feeling. Like, I never bought one Shibu Inu.
Yeah.
And I really stayed away from Dogecoin for the most part too. In fact, I had a couple of friends on Facebook. There were just novice retail investors that were promoting it and telling everybody that they should spend their stimulus money on it.
Yeah.
And I kind of chastised them a little bit. I got in there and said, hey man, you're messing with people's financial futures here. I wouldn't be recommending Doge. And then of course it ended up running up. They were recommending it at like 20 cents, and it ran all the way up to 73. But the
now
reason that
where is Doge at right now? Where is it at?
I think it's 7 or 8 cents.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up Coin Market Cap here. Yeah, I mean, Doge is one of those things. We saw Elon talking about it really heavily. The peak was like right at SNL. We should have known clear and cut that that's the top, right? When it hits SNL, it should have been the most clear thing in the world. But yeah, it's fallen back down. It's about 7 cents and some change, 0.071. And Doge is one that's like retraced enough where I might look at it, but I really don't think it's ever going to like hit $1. And I just felt like, I've been looking at other types of projects. I've been kind of looking into ICP more seriously as of recently from the values it's at. I don't expect ICP to like hit, $700 or anything like that. Like, retrace that crazy, scam pump that it had from all of its insiders when it first came out. But I do look at ICP as pretty viable in the next run for potentially even getting up to $200. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's one that I'm moving on. And Yeah, I felt like getting near before it pumped, and now it's pumped. So I'm kind of waiting on the sidelines for near, paying attention to like H bar and things like that. But yeah, meme coins, I had owned Shiv in the past. It really never did anything. Never, it only lost money for me. And Shiv
Mhm.
did. So it's like it's about kind of positioning before that awesome wave comes, and it takes a lot of research and a lot of due diligence to be able to be ahead of those waves and not be the exit liquidity, because that's the danger is catching the headlines. Oh my gosh, next best thing, and the train's already left the station. You missed it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely gosh. And then the Pi Network came out, right?
Yeah.
Pi Network came out, and didn't really like come out. It's been out for years, and I've been mining it for like 650 days. I just looked at like
Okay.
how long I've been mining it, and like it's something that was totally in the back of my mind. I barely even, it was very, spread out when I would mine, but I still have accumulated a pretty decent amount over that time. And Pi Network might be a little happy mistake kind of example in that regard. You know what I mean? It's a project that, yeah, it might be everyone says that it's stealing your phone's data. Well, guess what? The NSA already did that. So, that argument is invalid. We lost that right during the Patriot Act when we didn't push back on that one. So I think that Pi Network is really interesting to see come back into the limelight. Like, I mean, not back into, it's never really been hit in the news cycle. And then I saw it just kind of come out of nowhere. I've been watching it. They've been updating, us on the mining side this whole way through. Advancements have been made. The mainnet's about to come out. Like, they're doing a pretty good job. It's like a bunch of people from Stanford that had this idea for the Pi Network. And, that one might release and be parabolic. I don't know. If it does, like, that'll be awesome for me. If it doesn't, it's whatever. And it didn't cost me anything. It was just a project that I was involved with, that I interacted with. And I, might receive some benefit from that. It's the same thing with that coming token for Arbitrum, interacting with the
Yeah.
Arbitrum. Um, just getting involved, even if you ain't got pennies, you can go and interact with these things, put a small amount of money, move them to and from, just helping them, add to their liquidity pool and receiving the benefits and from that on these new upstarting projects. So yeah, there are ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's hard to position in front of stuff like that, but you just gotta kind of do your own research, and look deep. And yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see what Pi ends up being. I mean, I was starting to see something on TikTok. I started realizing there's tons of videos that don't explicitly say like Pi Network, and like they don't really shill the Pi Network, but I was like pausing the screen and I could see a lot of these people. I think it was like China or Japan. It was definitely in Asia. Just many, many different videos of like all these workers, that work for Pi Network. So it was really interesting to see that, but also it struck me that they weren't like explicitly saying what the coin even was on the title or description. It was just like some beautiful, like great gala dinner or whatever, and I had to pause it, and I see Pi Network on there, and I start like looking backwards and stuff, and realize I might have something that'll be worth something someday. I don't know. That's just about staying involved, and it was an idea brought up to me in passing from like one other person that was in crypto at the time that I knew a few years back.
Yeah.
So we'll see
Yeah,
how.
that's awesome. One of my friends and a guy that I have a lot of respect for in crypto just actually like posted his referral link for Pi
Oh yeah,
on his Facebook, because I guess he's talking about getting some cryptocurrency for free. So
yeah,
I guess with Pi there's a way that you can mine it, or you can
yeah.
you
You
can get
basically, yeah, that referral link. You kind of create this group of mining. It helps increase your security for like your mining, and you actually get more rewards if you
right.
have more people kind of using their phone computing data together. So it's kind of a novel idea. I mean, it struck me as interesting way back when, because like, everyone's always flooding energy use for mining cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. You plug your phone in no matter what, right? It's just an app that's running on in the background. So that's kind of what struck me. But then they were like really involved with updates, and it was pretty spread out, like people from all kinds of all types of different countries in Africa in Asia and stuff like that were using it. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting, and we'll see where it ends up. I don't know, man. Like, I know there's a lot of FUD in the market and a lot of stuff, but I don't feel like we're going any lower, Brad. I've got to disagree with, like all the calls for lower. I just don't see it. I think that, people get exhausted emotionally to a point with bad news and stuff like that. We kind of become numb. Plus, you have a bunch of Bitcoin locked on these exchanges and these litigations now. There's not much sell pressure left that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
This is historic.
I kind of hope you're right. I really do. But I still think, back, I think it was, I want to say when Bitcoin originally had its worst day ever, I want to say it was right around March 20th of 2020. It literally dropped about 50% in one day, with the day that it dropped all the way down to 3,200.
Yeah.
But it also rebounded back up to like 5,800 or 6,000 within hours.
Right.
So I don't see a prolonged dip. Like if it dropped from 16 to 8 or 9 or 10, I would not see it staying there for several months like it has at 16, 17. But I really do think that it wouldn't surprise me if we see a crash like that. It'll probably rebound and go back up to 16 within a few days or maybe a week or two. But I think that there's a good chance that we might see that big wick down in the middle of the night when everybody's sleeping. And
I mean, it would take one heck of a black swan, again, another black swan to do it. I mean, it's totally doable. That March move was from COVID. You know what I mean? Many people thought that it was the end game, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like that March dip. I remember that March dip. I couldn't get my money on the exchange fast enough. Like I saw 3,800, and by the time I purchased my coin, it was like 5,200, I think it was. Like it was like exactly as you said, it was moving back up really fast. Yeah, I mean, outside of a major black swan, which it's not like we're impervious to in the current geopolitical setup. I mean, that's definitely on the table, but I think it's going to take something like that to get what you're talking about. But even then, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be, if it does, exactly as you said. Really what I see is just a boring, confusing, slight walk uphill, then a drop back down at the end of the year, probably back down to where we are right now. And then, rebuilding from there kind of in the same fashion. I was seeing, gosh, I don't know how to, I wish I could share my screen with you, but if you go
down to the bottom and you got the tabs along the bottom, the one in the middle that says present.
Let's do it. All right. Yeah. I'm going to show you a graph that I found pretty important, just from the like backing up and kind of looking at what's going on in general with the rate of return that we're getting on Bitcoin in particular. But, this, it kind of helped paint a picture for kind of the imperativeness of this coming bull run, or, what we, the 4-year cycle, if it holds true, kind of what's coming for that. Let me pull this up for you right here. I also want to, here we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share this guy. Let's do it.
While you're doing that, I want to thank my beautiful bride for being here, reminding everybody to hit that like and subscribe and share button. I see we do have a few viewers. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Would love to recognize you, guys and gals that are here watching us tonight. I know that this was kind of a impromptu, kind of last second stream, but appreciate you guys for being here.
All right.
Hey, there we go. Okay, let me add that to the stream.
Yeah.
Didn't realize I had to add it. There we go.
There we go. So this is what I'm seeing here. Basically, I'm focused on the diminished returns aspect of these cycles. And I was thinking about this, these green boxes diminishing on their return rates previous to seeing this graph. And I'm kind of targeting 140 for the next bull run. I'm definitely going to be selling around 90 should it hit there. at a 25% of the bag, do another 25% here, and try to basically be fully out of the position around the 150 mark. Maybe I'll miss all this stuff up here if we have some kind of global economic, Bitcoin race, but I don't think that that's coming anytime soon. And really why I wanted to bring this up is because I feel like, we have the obvious bet with Bitcoin and, your Ethereum, which is probably going to outperform Bitcoin in the next market. But it's really important to be looking at what are the advancements beyond Ethereum and Bitcoin for this next cycle to really make some life-changing wealth for myself. So I'm looking into things like Polygon or Constellation DAG. I'm looking into ICP. So a few more aggressive positions that I'm actually looking at right now. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I definitely am still buying chunks of Bitcoin as I go, but I have absolutely started to position into some projects that I feel really confident in the long term that actually have reasonable utility. I think that, it's still going to be a speculative market move. There's going to be not much utility in the next bull run outside of nation states gathering it and preparing their own pocketbooks with it. The reason why I feel that is I see BlackRock is swooping in the background, ready to buy up these bankrupt projects and miners. They're buying up the mining companies, they're buying up the news agencies, they're buying up the exchanges that are going under. BlackRock and Vanguard are really positioning right now to own a large portion of kind of the operation within crypto. I'm not a huge fan of BlackRock, but I feel like what they're doing in the background is building an infrastructure for themselves while they sell this fear narrative. Hey, the recession might be here just around the corner. We've been in a recession for 3 quarters. Like, you can't skew reality like that and then lie to me to my face the next week and act like I don't have a memory in that regard. You know what I mean? So we've been in a recession for probably a good year if they were honest about the economic data. If CPI reporting was done the same way in the 80s, if we did the same CPI reporting process that we did in the 80s, now we would have been in a recession a long time ago. So, I get a little bit aggravated when I hear that narrative continuously, like, hey, you better watch out, there's a recession coming and stuff. It's like, bro, we have been here. This is like the flu season was the first shot of World War III, in my opinion. And what we're going to see is continued battling forward, a divorce between the global world economic system. We're going to see NATO break up with BRICS. BRICS is going to be born and break up with NATO. And I think that this is going to end up with a Bretton Woods 2.0 in 2032. And, 2030, 2032, we're going to have, most likely a Bitcoin-backed dollar system by the end of this conflict. And I think it's going to take a long time for this conflict to play out. So 10 years is kind of a short game, honestly, when I'm looking at it. That doesn't mean that the markets won't come back up. Go look at the Dow Jones through the history of America, the most warred nation in thousands of years. You will see massive gains in the market. War is a game of resources. And we are in that position right now, as hardcore as it is to say, that's what it is. And, this is a technological race right now. That's why we see the tug of war over Taiwan and the chip capabilities that they have, because whoever has the chips has the power. The data is the most valuable thing. I saw a valuation. You saw ChatGPT is worth, like, already Forbes has valued ChatGPT at $29 billion.
Wow.
That thing just came out.
Crazy.
It just came out, but that's years of harvesting data. So that tells me, I'm looking at like DAG for that encrypted data communication. Filecoin interests me. I don't own any of it, but I've been looking at it, and people got to think about that, like how much data it takes to make this electronic economy work is immense. You're not going to have just one winner. You just have to find a few ones that cut out their little niche, what they focus on, what they're good at, and you'll be fine. you know.
I've been playing around in the Osmosis and Atom ecosystems recently.
That's a good
one. I came across one of my mentors, in fact, that Jerry V. Hall had put a token called Jackal. I want to say the ticker is JKL, which it's like a cloud storage token. He put that kind of in front of me, and right now it's got a really good farm on the Frontier Osmosis exchange that's sitting at like 285%. So I put a few dollars into the farm, and just kind of checking that out. He thinks that there's a good chance that cloud storage and that kind of stuff like you're talking about is going to become, more and more valuable in the future. Yeah. So I agree with you. And I like what Johnny Rico here has to say. I think both of us agree with him pretty much. He says, I think a focus on Bitcoin will set you up for the foreseeable future. Alts are risky. Yeah. Bitcoin is a no-brainer. Yeah. We both agree with that. We've both said, though, too, Johnny, I do agree with you. Absolutely. But at the same time, I think Drew and I have both agree that if you're really looking to build wealth, you're in your early 20s, 30s, 40s, you don't really have any type of a retirement built up. Maybe you're just working, a job making $30, $40, $50, $60,000 a year, living kind of paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you have a few extra dollars here and there. You're probably not going to create wealth and freedom in your life through Bitcoin, because you'd have to invest a pretty significant chunk of change.
If we got a good enough red wick, we could.
You're not gonna probably create it during the next bull market. Like if you're 20, if you're 20 and you want to retire when you're 60, you could do nothing but buy Bitcoin, or maybe even by the time you're 45. But if you're 20 and you want to be a millionaire during the next bull run, I think you have to kind of jump outside the Bitcoin box and get into a few of these tokens like you talked about, DAG, and some of the things that are maybe slightly riskier, but they also have 50, 100
it's like 1% of my portfolio, right? You allocate 1% of your portfolio for high risk endeavors, you know what I mean? Then you got, hey, what's up, Average Joe? How you doing?
Hey, we got him in there.
What's going on, man? Not much. Let me get over here and scoot in here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, this is the first time we've had 3 on here, man. Welcome everybody that hasn't seen it before. This is Average Joe Crypto. He is a technical analysis expert. Yes. He also has his own community token, the AJC token, that has done amazingly well. And man, we really appreciate you bringing yourself and your expertise onto the channel, Joe.
I appreciate you guys, man. Good to see you both.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, for those that are watching the stream, I also want to introduce Prepper Crypto Drew more properly. He's been talking a lot and really giving some valuable information out, but I want you to know his background. He's not just some guy that got invited to the channel randomly. This gentleman has been involved in crypto for several years. He's part of one of what I consider to be the best teams in crypto. He works with Ben Armstrong and BitBoy Crypto. He does research. He is, helps produce the shows, and he is heavily involved in talking with some of the brightest crypto minds in the world. So when he's talking about world currency and inflation and the government doing this and the government doing that, and how to protect yourself and position yourself to actually move forward over some of the challenges that are probably coming to us over the next 5 or 10 years. I really don't think there's anybody more qualified than Drew Prepper Crypto to speak on that.
No, I appreciate that, man. I try to, yes, I do work there and I'm research. And yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest risk is not taking one for what's coming to middle class and lower class. Like your biggest risk is just working your job and not allocating any money into anything. Like if you could put it into gold and you won't keep up with inflation, but you'll be better off than most. You know what I mean? I hear a lot of people, blame or, call gold as, a low returning asset, but, I feel like diversification, like in my name, Prepper Crypto, I'm planning for the bad things that can happen geopolitically. But then crypto, because I'm also positioned in leaning into this dangerous time, because this is a major transformation in human history. And it's like when the pen was invented, man. That's just kind of how I feel. Oh, what do we got? Bonk, let's check it out.
I was just no. Go ahead and finish your thought though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. God, I got totally distracted by this.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I've met a lot of people, and I've met a lot of my major inspirations over the past few years. It's been a really amazing time, an amazing journey, and I'm just glad to be able to talk about it. Getting my channel. I just started a channel. I decided to start a channel. I've been pretty quiet during flu season, but now I'm ready to run my mouth again. So, you know.
Hey, that reminds me. I tried to find your channel so that I could put the link into the description of the last video we did, and I couldn't locate you. What is it titled? Just Prepper Crypto, or what is it?
Yeah, I think it's Prepper Crypto. There's not much content on there. Just follow me on Twitter. Or Blockchain Basement, honestly, is where I'm on Blockchain Basement like basically every day, and it's kind of like the after show for BitBoy Crypto.
Okay, sounds good.
So yeah, I'm hosting that tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you can find it on Twitch live, and then we restream it on YouTube at 4 p.m. on Blockchain Basement, and I help produce Around the Blockchain. We just started our new channel there, and it's been insane, man. We've already passed some major milestone goals in the first week of releasing it on its own. So it's really cool to see these things kind of grow. It takes community, you know, to spread the word and to get the word into your friends' ears about what's going on right now, because there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of reasons for people to hide in the mainstream narrative, and while that mainstream narrative is being pummeled down their ear holes, BlackRock is in the background buying up all of these defunct companies at rock bottom prices, and they're going to own the landscape in which we are trying to dig the gold in. So you know, man, get yours before. Yeah, so that's awesome.
I want to get Joe back. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say it's hard to convince people that now is the best time to buy when it looks the way it is, you know, but it really is. I agree totally.
Yeah, man. It's always darkest before dawn. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could possibly go a little bit lower, but anybody that buys in at these prices is going to be extremely happy in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. Yep. And you just got to move opposite of your emotions. You know what I mean? Right. Don't let your emotions get you. You know, don't let it get you on tilt. You know, that's why I you know, bonk, awesome guys, but you know, don't FOMO into this thing. Yeah. This is my recommendation right now. This just kind of shows the potential that you have within projects. You know what I mean? And like. And another thing, you know, if you do make profits, take them. You know what I mean? Take them. Like,
yes,
let it be house money. Take your profits. Like, it'll feel like a mistake when you do it, but it's really important to do. So.
One of my biggest mistakes was not taking enough profits.
Yeah.
When I knew the time was right too, I was even encouraging my followers, you know, take profits. But then here I was just holding on, diamond hands.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that was the 100K narrative. Now, next one will be the 1,000,000K narrative once we. But what do you got on Bonk? You want to talk about this thing more? I'm gonna.
Yeah, you know, the reason I wanted to talk about it is because it the thing that I do like about it is it created some excitement in the cryptocurrency world. It created some fun, and I also, even though I kind of missed out on the initial profits, you know, I'm still kind of heavily invested in the Solana ecosystem. I'm not sure how wise that is, but I've got, you know, probably about $4,000 worth of NFTs, nothing like, you know, humongous, but enough to where I do have some skin in the game. There's also an online poker site called Soul City Poker, where you use Solana to deposit and they give you poker chips back that I really enjoy. So, you know, I like that. And so when this Bonk came out, it kind of caught my eye. And then one of the things about crypto that I'm a huge believer in is sometimes whether or not a token has utility doesn't mean anything in the shorter term. And so I'm with you, Prepper. I wouldn't necessarily go and FOMO into this thing with a huge amount of my net worth. But I've seen, you know, Joe Paris, who is, you know, huge influencer, just did a video on it today. A lot of influencers are jumping on board. And when you go to the website here, let me pull this back up here and find the right tab.
Change my mind, Brad. Change my mind.
You know,
Okay.
Because, why Bonk? Bonk is the first Solana dog coin for the people by the people, with 50% of the total supply being airdropped. So they did give a lot of the Solana, ecosystem participants and people that are in Solana an airdrop. If you go to the one pager here, I think it's going to stay on the same page, so you can kind of see that. It goes kind of through here and shows the tokenomics a little bit, but I really like this integrations page. And you kind of look at some of the projects that this token has kind of been partnering up with, including Orca. And that was one of the things that kind of got me a little bit interested in it. So Orca right now here says add some Bonk liquidity on Orca. If you go to that tab and you go look at the pools, there's an Orca Solana liquidity pool, and there's an Orca, or excuse me, a Bonk. There's a Bonk Solana pool, and there's a Bonk USDC pool that are both paying about 999% right now. And what I've found is if you jump into a pool like that, obviously there's going to be some sell pressure because of the rewards. But what I'm finding is if you just take your rewards every day and cash it out into USDC, if the rate stays up in that 900, 1,000, even 300-400% range for very long at all, it doesn't take very long to get 100% of your initial investment back out into USDC, and then you still have the Bonk tokens that you're kind of free rolling on. So I definitely see this as a play for myself, where I'm going to move some stuff around and maybe throw $500 or $1,000 into one of these liquidity pools, get my USDC back out every single day or however often they pay me the rewards. And then, this could turn into a Shiba Inu type token. So the worst that can happen to me is I lose my 500 or my 1,000, or if you don't have a lot of money, you throw 25 or $100 at it. But this is the possibility where a guy could maybe get lucky and turn a $100 bill and turn it into a $10,000 bill if it has a big run up in any type of a Shiba Inu effect. So that's kind of my take on it. I was kind of curious what Joe is thinking, because I know you did a live stream yesterday and you mentioned Bonk, and you were talking about it a little bit. So what do you think, Joe?
Well, I mean, honestly, we went over it a little bit, and I didn't know nothing about it, right? So what I got from it is it's basically just what it says it is, a meme coin. But considering they did, you said they airdropped 50% of the supply. So, but the supply is like it's huge, isn't it?
It's immense. This
yes, absolutely.
On 18th of December. It was just created, so this thing is brand new. Came out of left field.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is a potential to make good money. Like, I'd acknowledge the extreme risk with not only 900% staking, but no real utility behind it. This is going to be a grab and go thing. But we've seen crazier things work. Doge is still alive, so animal spirits have entered the market before and existed later on. So it definitely has happened before. It's a good on them. Maybe it's Sam. For the people by the perfect people, something Sam would say for sure. So I don't know about that, but I want to be objective, and maybe it'll make good money. Maybe it's not Sam. And maybe I'm just a boomer. You know what I mean? That might be the case. I don't know. You tell me. But yeah.
As we discussed before we went live, I never bought any Shiba Inu. I really stayed away from Doge. This token is really not my style. I've said it a million times on my channel that I want to be involved in projects that are going to be around for decades. I like the Bitcoin and the Ethereum and the chain links and the Polkadots of the world. At the same time, I'm not against, I missed out on some money in some of those tokens because I kind of let my morals, if you will, or not really morals is probably the wrong word, but my belief system kind of get in the way. I know a lot of people that refuse to invest in XRP because they're all about the decentralization. Well, if XRP can give my family the financial freedom and give me some ability to avoid some of the misery that's coming financially to a lot of people, I'm all for it. And so I just have I'm with you though too. What Prepper Crypto said is take profits. If I put $1,000 into this and it goes up to 2 or 3 grand, I'm pulling my initial 1,000 back
Right.
out and riding the rest of it, risk free, 100,000%. I'm not going to sit there with 1,000 and try to run it up to 100 grand before I pull anything back out.
Totally, man. And I want to just I want to see what average Joe thinks on the charts, but I am one of those salty, angry, decentralized people. But
I didn't buy XRP.
I have a lot of XRP because, I look at it like this. If I disagreed with the railroad being built in America when this country was being founded, guess what the best move would have been? It would have been to buy land in northern Utah where they have to go through. So then they have to move you out of the way. You have to own the digital landscape and the utility. It's an immovable object meets an unstoppable force when it comes to CBDCs and decentralization. They're going to have to coexist. Our FBI has admitted it, so they can't kill Bitcoin. All they can do is figure out a way to scare people away from it and move those who will listen into a CBDC when the time is right for them. These proof of stake systems aren't CBDCs. They do have potential implications of being used in a controlled manner, but as of right now, it's not nefarious, in my opinion, except for Polkadot. I have my own reasons for not liking Polkadot, so I don't touch that. But that stuff maybe we'll be covering, a year or two from now on why I am so against Polkadot. But yes, absolutely. Average Joe, what do you think about this volatility, man? We have seen a historic low in volatility. Like,
Right.
It's Dead Sea. Like, I'm feeling the bottom. Brad feels like we'll probably get like some nasty scam like down to 10K and then back up in the morning. What do you think?
I think that really it's just all because of the economic landscape right now. Bitcoin, the crypto market's going through things that it's not had to go through, right? So it's being tested. But when you zoom out on the monthly, we're below some levels at some key moving averages that typically in the past in Bitcoin's history that we never really even came close to. So, but I think it's just because of everything going on, right? We have just the inflation, we have the FTX, we've got the war, just everything that's going on. It's keeping Bitcoin and the markets from kind of like going about their typical cycle the way it would. But I still believe in the 4-year cycle, and I still believe that 2024, 2025 is going to be good years. Could it be changed or be stopped? Possibly, depending on what happens between now and then. Some big catalyst might keep the market suppressed for longer. But I don't know, what is y'all's opinion? Well, if something like that were to happen, right? Because it could. We're going into this great reset. They're trying to fast track all of it. So, if something like that were to happen, would the Bitcoin halving still have the effect that it's typically had in the past?
I absolutely do. What you're talking about is the formation in my mind of a white swan event where one nation state has to choose decentralized systems of finance to be alternative from the other one that has swift and centralized systems of finance, aka NATO. So I think that what we're seeing is a technological arms race that if we're watching it and you're paying attention to it, it moves like you're watching grass grow. But what's happening is you're seeing a divorce of a global economy. And this is it has the strong potential, in my opinion, after it's done, this conflict, to end up being just like a Bretton Woods moment happened in New Hampshire after World War II. The winning countries came together and they organized the next global finance system because of all the turmoil and ripping that had happened to the trade during the World War. I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now. I think that's exactly why China wants Taiwan so bad, and they're going to try for it. I do think that is going to be something we're going to see. But these situations have a strong potential to actually be extremely bullish for crypto in many different chances. If we get soft-sided regulation, like allowance regulation, not some draconian overstep in response to this FTX thing this year, because I do think regulation is coming this year. I think we're going to know this year how they're going to handle these. And it could be, if it's soft-sided and we are only having 25 base point increases from the Federal Reserve, and they continue these sneaky overnight repos on treasury bonds because your outlook on the 30-year treasury bond pays less than a 1 year at this point. I think that has a potential to absolutely push it into a really parabolic, because it'd be nation states competing for bandwidth on that currency level. So I think pain is coming, but I think that, we are the solution. Decentralization, freedom of monetary movement is going to end up being the solution when we step back and look back at this, 2 decades from now.
Absolutely.
It's definitely dangerous, but that's the fun in it. That's where the volatility is the price you pay for performance, right? That's what you're looking for. So, man, like I know it's definitely looking grim out there, but I think that there's a bigger thing at play right now. I have my own conspiracy theories about it. Like Goldman Sachs presented the idea of BRICS in New York right before 9/11. So there's that, but I definitely see some things coming that'll be pretty cataclysmic, but in a good way for both centralized and decentralized options. Like Stellar, look at Stellar. It's, working with, countries, I think it was the Ukraine and a few others that are testing Stellar for the CBDC usage. And the most important thing, like CBDCs are coming. The most important thing is just to make sure that your legislators know that you know what's coming, and that you do not want expiration dates on your CBDC. You do not want to be, tracked on your emissions that you've given off that day in value in comparison to what you can spend that day. Because that's the danger in CBDCs. The value in them is giving liquidity to the world, which it needs desperately right now. So if we approach it from a manner in the crypto community, and that's why Ben and BitBoy Crypto is so politically involved with this stuff, trying to create a body that knows what they're talking about when it comes to cryptocurrency. Because if we let these dinosaurs that don't have any idea what crypto is set these regulations, we're doomed. It cannot happen. Yeah, that's the line in the sand. We have to stop that first and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You bring up some very, very good points. Way too many comments in the chat to say hi to everybody, but I just want to thank everybody.
That's a good thing. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. I agree. We talked about this right before the stream. I think that Drew Prepper Crypto agrees with you 100%. Says bears saying Bitcoin to 10K is like when bulls were saying 100K. Bottoms in my opinion.
And love Rusty Shackleton. He's my spirit animal right there. That used to be my profile picture. He was holding a baby and shooting a revolver. You know what I mean?
And then, Kyle says 4-year cycle is still king for now. And I think I would agree with that too, until proven otherwise. I'm going to, believe that, Bitcoin halving in March of 2024 is going to kick off an amazing time for us crypto people that stuck through, this last two or 3 years before that happens.
Absolutely, man. I feel like what we saw in this last bull run, this double top kind of fake outs deal, was traditional finance's heavy involvement. And I think the next one to come is going to be the nation states. Everyone keeps talking like, oh, institutions are going to come and finally get involved. Like, bro, they went in the back door and tried to dismantle this house. You know what I mean?
I believe that.
They've been in here. They created loans on top of loans on top of loans in a house of cards, and that came crushing down. Thank God it did, because if it didn't, they would have succeeded, and the BIT license bill would be in place, and FTX would have been the only licensed exchange in the United States. No one else would be allowed in. And then you're sold synthesized tokens. So,
right.
Yeah, not even real tokens that they were holding. So, it's exactly like fractional reserve banking. That's not what I'm here for. I want to see the destruction of modern monetary theory, and I'm not looking to recreate, TradeFi 2.0 with Bitcoin. It's just not.
I made the same mistake as most people, including what, like Average Joe talked about. I did not sell anywhere near enough profits. And part of that reason is I remembered that usually December going into January, that's when the 17-18 bull run really had its massive peak.
Yeah.
And I just, kind of assumed and believed that was when we were going to see the biggest run up and the biggest peak again.
Right.
And here we were, there, I forget the guy's name, but there was a pretty famous guy. I think even, Ben talked about him on Around the Blockchain that had kind of predicted the price of Bitcoin kind of for several months and had like been nailing it. He nailed the dip. He nailed it like in September and October. And then he that same guy had it like pegged at 90,000 in November and 130 in December. And he'd been right for like 6 months in a row. And then all of a sudden he was wrong. Yeah. And yeah, man, that definitely, that definitely hurt. I'm still paying the price for not pulling out enough myself. There's a lot of things in my life right now that would be different had I had any idea that the top was going to be at 68 grand and prepared for what was coming over this last year plus. I've definitely gone through some challenges in my life and I've learned some valuable lessons. And I guess, if it came too easy, maybe it just wouldn't be appreciated enough. Because I tell you what, man, when it comes back in 2024, 2025, I'm going to do a lot better job of preserving it than I did from the 2021 bull run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. From a technical perspective, man, I was sitting there. It was like October 2021, and I'm like sitting here telling y'all like, man, this has got to be the top. I was looking at the monthly, and I was like, this has got to be the top. Where we were at, I was like, there's no way. I mean, but then everything, like you said, the double top fake out, man, when we went slightly above, we just put in a tiny, tiny little higher high and it faked everybody out. That's when everybody and their mom was screaming, this time's different, extended bull cycle, all this shit, and I'm like, man, I knew right then. I was like,
dude, my wife called it and I knew she called it. I was laying in bed. She was looking at 69K. She's like, sell that thing. And I was like, it's funny because my plan was to sell it or just take a loan out from Celsius, right? I was going to take a loan out from Celsius to get to sell out. But what I stopped for was because I had a plan to sell my crypto and the house at the same time to roll it into real estate and then reaccumulate a crypto bag. But I knew that real estate wasn't done because BlackRock was paying cash, 50% over asking price. And so I knew that I wasn't quite done with the house. And so I held the Bitcoin, but I actually made more holding the house, sold the house, and I sold I think it sold like 4 Ethereum or something just to buy a minivan. It's definitely all house money, all that old stuff is. By a long shot. But yeah, the plan is what kind of held me back. And thank God I didn't take the loan out at a Celsius. But I'm the next time I'm laying in bed and I see a green candle like that on, the weekly, and you start like feeling like you're looking up a cliff, you know what I mean? That was the feeling. You saw it and you're like, how much further can this go? Next time I have that feeling, I'm selling.
Right.
What
What do you guys think about this narrative? So one of the things that I think is different about this bear market is when I was involved in the bear market in 18, 19, and 20, there was way more relief rallies, way more fake outs, way more times that I remember getting excited thinking that Bitcoin was going back up to all-time highs. When I really look at this last year plus, there was one time after the June dump all the way down to 17 where Bitcoin rebounded. Remember, we had that bet, Joe, and I called 25K or 24K, and it went all the way up to right about 25K. It didn't stay there all that long. It came kind of back down. So in over a year now, we've only had one semi-relief rally.
Yeah.
I still kind of feel like we're due another one here in the not too distant future. I would not be surprised by a $25,000 to $35,000 Bitcoin in February or March. What do you guys think about that?
I'm targeting that, but I'm not thinking that till my time frame from that's like August. like
August, okay.
tail end, like just after summer. But I mean, it's the exact same thing. I'm feeling like we're going to have a slight run and crack, and then be clear for actual movement into the upside.
I agree. Mainly because of the Fed, because
Right.
they do plan on raising interest rates by another 25 basis points February,
Yeah, it
and
might
then
be 50. They've left it completely open
right,
reasonably. It'll look like I would say it's probably going to be 50 and then a slew of 25s. Yeah,
yeah,
the Fed, they're raising rates at the fastest velocity in history. I think it is right
yeah,
now. So, they definitely got to slow it down for a bit. They're catching a bunch of flack and all that stuff. And you see the emergency repos happening overnight. Overnight repos on treasury bonds are happening at the same time. Like they're trying to fix the bond situation. The inverted yield is not good for the dollar stability long term. So that's something else that they're having to work on. And Janet Yellen
but they
Bellen.
do plan on cutting the rates by around the time you said, towards the end of the year is when they plan to
Yeah.
start cutting back. So
Right, right. That's kind of why we're, the consensus is as far as where I work, is that, we're essentially feeling like there's going to be a definite fake out rally, like just even up to 40. We could experience a move all the way up to 40 and then crash back down to 18. And that would still
mhm.
be within the regular kind of history of it. But yeah, man, I mean, we could
That would
have.
be a
Imagine
big
if you have like the war's ending or some bullish news comes out.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
oh yeah.
I don't know. People are so used to the bad news. Like the moment they hear something like
There's a lot of people just sitting on the sidelines in cash, just waiting for something
right,
like that.
right,
That would
absolutely,
definitely set it off, probably.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Did you guys? I wanted to. So we had Marathon. The Bitcoin miner has no debts. And we see some companies kind of come out on the other side, flex, you know what I mean? He's like, look, we're just fine and stuff like that. No one even cares because they're all focused on like the next
right.
thing, the DCG insolvency rumors and all that stuff, and a potential that the SEC is investigating DCG. It's not looking good for Barry Silbert right now. But, he's more traditional finance that I don't even want in crypto.
Right.
So, c'est la vie, you know what I mean? And your GBTC representative Bitcoin, modulated system you wanted to plug into the Wall Street can eat rocks for all I care because it's not what I'm here for. So,
I like your shirt, by the way.
oh, thanks. Yeah, this is
Me too.
this is a BitBoy crypto shirt.
It's
Yeah, I
awesome.
have a whole closet for it. I like wearing, whatever. I like wearing Bitcoin shirts on like Fed rate hike days and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes I wear the XRP shirt when I really am feeling spicy against Gary Gensler. You know what I mean? But we have a potential Gary Gensler gets in trouble over this FTX thing. I mean, he gave a no action relief to Sam. I think it was in March or something like that of this year, or last year.
Yeah.
A clear and knowing oversight written down on paper in a meeting between Gary and Sam and his cohorts. So Tom Emmer, one of our elected leaders, is actually doing his job. He's pissed. He noticed it. He's like, what the hell, man? You were supposed to be in charge of this thing. You're supposed to be protecting people. And you give him a clear no action relief. So, yeah, I'm happy to see
It is
that.
awesome. So
Yeah.
so what if maybe this great reset that's coming is actually going to be, maybe they want us to fear the financial reset's one thing, but like uh, let's venture off just a
Yeah.
tad. So what do you guys think about the whole idea that we're shifting from the evil to the good, from the dark to the light? Like as in all the evil and corruption and bad's going to be exposed, brought to light in the coming years and replaced with good. I've heard this theory.
I'm hoping, and it's possible,
Let's hope, right?
I'm hopeful for it. I'm here for it. I'm spreading the word about it, Yeah, I mean, we need an overhaul to the medical industrial complex. We need acknowledgement of what's been done to the population over the last 2 years and the died suddenly movement that is now popping up. There's a lot of honesty and, actual tyranny that we need to look in the eyes and acknowledge and let them know, hey, we see you. We remember
Yes.
this. It was 1770, and remind them of how this place was born, because it's a pity that we can only die once to protect a place as awesome and as liberty based as America. Even though it's gotten ugly over the last 20 years, we are super lucky to have the representative republic that we do, and we need to do everything that we can to preserve that. And America is the leader in the world financially, so that's why it's super important in the dollar sense and the crypto sense that we be leaders. I don't think we're going to be leaders in the regulation side. We'll probably be pretty behind. We're going to stay pretty stubborn about protecting our little walls that we have around our world currency situation right now. But yeah, man, there's the Great Awakening is definitely something that is a strong reaction. I with every action there is a reaction, and an equal reaction, and I think that, and I'm hopeful that we will see that, and that's why I'm sitting here screaming about it. I've noted it the technological tea party that we could have against the U.S. dollar, and taking the velocity away from the U.S. dollar to kind of teach a lesson to modern monetary theory that it's not really okay to shut bank accounts down for people posting discourse on a social media platform. It's not okay to cancel people because they have a differing opinion. I definitely had to deal with that. I was in the public eye as a lead singer during the whole flute season, all that stuff. Couldn't talk about the stuff I talked about anymore, even though I wrote songs about it was coming, and then it came and they asked me to stop talking about it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's the censorship is real, and it needs to be stopped. It would be awesome to see Elon Musk do something really free market-ish with Twitter. You know what I mean? Kind of push the envelope and test regulators and push this. It's the digital square, man. This is where you can't throttle people in the public square. And this public square, look where we are. We're digital right now.
Right. We're
Absolutely.
What Elon Musk is doing is it's blown me away, to be honest. I mean, it surprises me that I'm even seeing what I'm seeing on Twitter, with the Twitter files, like this kind
Robert
of thing
Malone is back
in the public eye. Like, it's just
Absolutely. I love it. I'm here for it, man. I'm cheering. And Dr. Robert Malone was completely shoved under the rug, man. He's done RNA research for like 30 years or something like that. Like, this guy, it's like one of the pioneers of it, and they black bagged him about the product they were using, and him speaking about the product he helped design. So it's like, bro, like, the book burning and all of this stuff has to stop.
Yeah.
And we could push for an open and transparent financial system. Imagine how many less missiles would be dropped if each one of them in the cost was accounted for on a blockchain that was publicly available. They probably wouldn't be spending $800,000 on toilets anymore, too. So
right.
There's things like that we can fix internally and rein back the government, remind them they still work for the people. That's very tangible still. Yeah. That's why I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. Absolutely. Love it.
Yeah. Amen. I think there's way too many people out there that, it has to hit closer to home for them. Unfortunately, it kind of reminds me of the movie, The Patriot, with Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
In the beginning, he wants nothing to do with the fight. He just wants to, live and let live until one of his sons gets killed. And then he joins in and is part of the revolution. He's been a part of a couple of my favorite movies. I love, Braveheart too. In fact, that used to be one of my pictures on my Twitter profile. Freedom. The meme. He's there. Freedom. And
did you see what he's coming out with? Did you see what Mel is coming out with? Hold on, I'm going to pull it up again. It's here. I might share my screen again.
Go for it.
Let's see here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to share my screen and check this out. Look at this. This is amazing. This guy's. I don't know if I love him or if I should be suspect of him for being an implant, but let's do this. Let's check this out. Clicking this again. God, I'm terrible at this. Okay, so here it is. Look at this. Mel Gibson directing a film about the Rothschild family and hitting against the New
What?
attacks.
Really?
Yeah. So Mel Gibson has decided to hit the global New World Order agenda by directing a movie about the Rothschild family. And the movie is about a family of bankers. These bankers have been
What?
indebted the world through organizations like the Bank of International Settlements and the World Bank, and through global organizations such as the United Nations, CFR, and Bilderberg Group, with every single mention of the Rothschild family in media. Like, this guy is going for their throats right now, bro. Like, I
Wow.
couldn't believe it, man. When I saw, I mean,
What
I
is up with all these celebrities all of a sudden just coming
yeah.
out against it?
Well, I mean, maybe they just kind of are reading the room that it's okay to speak out. I mean, it's freedom's
Okay.
contagious. Freedom and
Mm,
strength are contagious. If people see it being shown, they want to be a part of that too. You know what I mean?
very
Yeah,
well put.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Like, you see doctors that were forcing the stuff into arms that have completely turned and they're using their knowledge against the system now because they lost a son, or you have different situations like that are happening right now. So yeah, man. That's that opposite reaction that's happening right now, and it's Bitcoin or bugs, baby, in my opinion. So
Yes.
I'm pushing
Yes.
this knowledge so that people can be sovereign in 10 years, man, no matter what happens. We can force that sovereignty and that transparency with our dollar. Nothing votes harder than your money.
Yep.
So
Mm.
keep that in mind when we're making these day-to-day choices. Should I buy this from this palm oil lotion from Amazon and complain about deforestation on my social media phone that was mined in Congo with cobalt materials, and a 6-year-old that died getting materials
Right.
out of the ground, and your
Yes.
electronic vehicle in the car, you know what I mean, and the lithium triangle that's cratering South Africa right now, or South America. No one pays attention to these things,
Yeah.
uh, but you
They
can. You need to make a choice too. I don't know. It's
they don't go below
Absolutely.
the surface, man.
right.
They see things for surface value and don't ever dig any deeper. It's a dangerous way to be.
Right.
Yeah, that's all right. I kind of got wrapped up
Has
there.
Aaron found his horse? What
Dude, I was
what
worried
happened
about
to
that.
Aaron,
And
man?
I'm super worried about him because this is not like him. He's super dependable.
Yeah.
So I'm really praying that
Right.
nothing bad is going on in his life. So definitely looking forward to hearing from him. I'm sure that he'll be in touch with us as soon as he possibly can. And I'm looking
Oh,
forward to hopefully hearing that everything's okay.
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Last time I missed the stream, his stream. I was supposed to be on his stream and I totally missed it. So, it's definitely not like him. It's like me to show up late or miss a stream, but it's definitely not like him.
Right. Right. Amen.
He's been super on it, man. He's one of he's
Yeah.
always prepared and ready to go. And I really like the influencers that kind of bridge the gap, that try to bridge the gap into regular people's layman's terms. I'm like,
Yeah.
I kind of present myself, or I am a hillbilly. I am a hillbilly, right? The only reason that I learn, or like that I'm able to research the way I do, is because I was a headhunter, and I learned. Here's the thing: if anyone's out there like, how do I do my own research? Google is like it's an addition problem. You can add and subtract. Look up Boolean searching, BOOLIEAN search. If you understand how to Boolean search Google, then you will be able to pull out whatever information it is that you want to gather out of the interweb. Good, bad, all the stuff in between, actual PDF documentation, reports like that. That is the way that I operate to make sure that I can find that reference letter that the DOJ gave DAG, or what the IMF's plans are with stellar lumens and stuff like that. Like, you can find all this different information if you know how to search it out of the internet, instead of just waiting for the information to be regurgitated to you by talking heads that wear Bitcoin shirts in the middle of the night talking. Absolutely.
Right.
I love it.
Awesome, guys. Well, we've been on a little over an hour. I know it's, after 11 o'clock and your guys
Yeah.
is next to wood, 10 or 11 o'clock. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you saving the day by jumping onto the stream with me tonight. And
Absolutely.
folks, for those of you that are on live or that are going to watch this replay, go follow Prepper Crypto on Twitter at Prepper Crypto. And then
Average Joe.
Average Joe
man.
Crypto has his own YouTube channel. Just go into the search engine and hit Average Joe Crypto. I started this stream.
We're having an after party after this, so
okay, you gonna do go live? Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll get those links to your guys' Twitters and YouTubes in the description here soon. Right now they're not in there because I just got this rolling when it looked like Aaron wasn't going to make it. So with that, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you both very much.
Dude.
Thanks, Brad, for getting this thing going so quick on last minute notice too. I mean, that's great.
Yes, you're awesome.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure.
All right.
You all have a great night. We'll see you soon.